If you're a fan of superhero stories, you might have heard the term power scaling. For starters, it describes how powerful characters are in relation to one another. In a well-written story with good power scaling, power levels stay consistent. We have a clear idea of how strong each character is, and we can roughly predict how a fight might play out if it would happen. Our feeling about how strong a character is originates mostly from prior scenes, where their skills are showcased. Especially movie writers and directors try to create visually impressive action scenes where characters are shown to be absurdly strong. But with characters like this, it's hard to create an interesting story with highs and lows, and makes it difficult to build tension and set the stakes for us as a viewer. A common example that gets picked on all the time is the CW Flash TV show. It is well known for its horrible power scaling. In one scene, it is shown how the Flash dodges bullets or is catching rockets, and just a few scenes later, we can see how he runs into an ice wall and is hit by Captain Cold's ice gun while he should be able to grab him and just put him into prison before he can even react. These kinda inconsistencies keep happening throughout the show, which leaves the audience rather unsatisfied. To avoid problems with power scaling, the creators of X-Men took another approach. Let's take a look at that one. The character I want to talk about specifically is Quicksilver. Just like the Flash, he's also a speedster and responsible for the two most iconic scenes within the X-Men movies. He got his first appearance in the 2014 movie X-Men Days of the Future Past, where he helps freeing Magneto from the Pentagon prison. That is also where one of his legendary scenes takes place. In this scene, he is shown to perceive time so fast that everything around him stops. He starts messing around with the prison guards while the track Time in a Bottle is playing.
If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true.
After this scene, he disappears for the rest of the movie. His second appearance was in the 2016 movie X-Men Apocalypse, where he created another memorable scene, in which he saves all of Charles Xavier's students out of the exploding school while the track Sweet Dreams is playing.
Some of them want to use you, some of them want to get used by you, some of them want to abuse you.
Later in the movie, in the final fight against Apocalypse, he gets taken out instantly when Apocalypse breaks his leg. This happens because Apocalypse is shown to also be able to perceive time and super speed. Seen from a viewer perspective, that appears to be a dumb excuse to take out an overpowered character who would be hard to integrate in a fight scene any other way. Sadly, in the 2019 movie X-Men Dark Phoenix, the same thing happens all over again. When Quicksilver tries to fight Jean Grey, she's also shown to have super fast vision just for the purpose of taking him out. Once again, Quicksilver isn't a part of the rest of the movie anymore. The pattern we see here is clear. Take an overpowered character for the purpose of cool sequences and then remove him from the story because a character with such strength features isn't suitable for the kind of story they had in their mind. To get a bit more precise, the tension within the movies is created through threatening villains with high physical strength. But once you introduce a character like Quicksilver, that whole structure collapses. He is shown to be untouchable. We get the feeling not even the strongest villain could lay a hand on him. That's where the power scaling issue appears. Keeping up tension throughout the fight gets hard for the writers. They have to decide if they either break the consistency of power levels like we've seen in the CW Flash TV series, or find another way to make sure the fight still stays exciting. In the case of the X-Men movies, the solution was to give the villains abilities that could counter Quicksilver's speed, rather than directly weakening him. This way, he wouldn't be able to participate in any major fight scenes. Many fans, however, weren't really happy with that decision. Another series heavily suffering from power scaling issues is the Amazon Prime show Invincible. The scenes of the show I want to talk about specifically all happen within the third season. Invincible is a character with Superman-like abilities. In the first episode of the third season, He's shown to have a training arc. We can see how he survives extreme heat, flies to the moon in no time, and bench presses the weight of the moon. That's the part of the story where we can get an idea of how strong he really is. But what happens further into the season can be kind of frustrating. Right after the scene where Invincible is shown to bench press the weight of the moon,
I'd give up, buddy. I just witnessed this guy bench pressing the moon.
we can see how he's stopped by a crowd of Multipulse clones who are all equivalent strength-wise to well-trained human fighters. Another scene that also stands out is one where Invincible fights against creatures coming from the depths of Earth.
You think you're strong? These creatures were born deep in the fire and pressure of the Earth's womb.
The explanation of the root of the strength does make sense, but it seems a bit odd that Invincible has such a hard time fighting them, considering his showcased abilities earlier. The YouTube creator Sir Sensorius made a great video about this topic, where he uses math to prove that Invincible should not be losing his fight the way he does. If you're interested in that, check out this video. Besides from the two scenes I've covered here in this video, there are plenty more. So even though Invincible is a really great show with interesting characters, the writers couldn't manage to create a story that feels exciting and builds tension without weakening the main character. Instead, he gets undermined so that he loses fights as a way to develop his character, which definitely feels a bit unsatisfying. Now we've discussed some examples where overpowered characters create huge problems with power scaling. But how can we get this right? Very recently I've been rereading the Dragon Ball mangas, and at some point I realized how well they handle correct power scaling while using surprisingly simple methods, even though they are including absurdly overpowered characters. Not that it's always perfect, but most of the time it works out just great. For me personally, the best storytelling happened within the Frieza arc, where Bulma, Krillin and Son Gohan go to planet Namek. The goal of the mission is to find the Dragon Balls on this planet because through the death of Piccolo during the fight with Vegeta and Nappa, the Earth's Dragon Balls lost their powers. Son Goku, who's still badly injured, has to stay in the hospital. Without him, the journey of the three travelers gets even more dangerous. As they arrive on planet Namek, the worst case scenario is taking place. Vegeta and another even bigger threat called Frieza are on the planet, also searching for the Dragon Balls, hoping to wish for their eternal life. As soon as Goku heals his wounds, he starts his journey to Namek, while training on the way there. Over the course of his trip, we can witness his immense strength. He's training with 100 times the gravity of Earth and mastering it. Now it's a race against time. Until Goku arrives, Bulma, Son Gohan and Krillin have to survive on their own. They have to stay hidden so that Vegeta and Frieza do not find them, but they also have to make sure that both of them won't be able to collect all Dragon Balls. This story dynamic really helps to give the lovable side characters some spotlight and lets them shine through their own problem-solving techniques, saving the show-off of the overpowered character Son Goku for later. To get around physically stronger enemies, the trio on Namek has to get creative. When they meet one of Frieza's men, they avoid him by using a blinding technique and hiding away. Every time when Vegeta gets close, they do everything to get themselves in between him and the Dragon Balls. This three-way rivalry between Vegeta, Frieza and our heroes, where each party is determined to get the Dragon Balls for themselves, creates a lot of tension and excitement and climaxes in a team-up of Vegeta, Son Gohan and Krillin against Frieza. When Goku arrives on the planet, we finally get some satisfaction. We can see how he handles the Ginyu Force with ease, where even Vegeta couldn't stand a chance against him. To me, that is a good execution of a storyline that includes an overpowered character who creates some cool action while keeping tension and not destroys our expectations and power levels. Besides from that approach, Dragon Ball is also using transformations to keep fights exciting. First, they are making it look like our hero is losing to a stronger enemy, but after a long and hard battle, the character is able to reach a transformation, which makes him strong enough to overcome the enemy. This approach may not be the smoothest, but the transformations are well integrated within the story and rarely come out of thin air. To sum up the topic, in this video we looked at several examples where characters with certain powers did not live up to our expectations in actual fights. The reason for this is the difficulty of integrating overly strong characters into an exciting storyline. One approach is to hold back the overpowered character for the first part of the story and let other characters struggle for a while. This makes the threat feel real and leads to a satisfying conclusion when the strong character finally steps in and saves the day. That was it with the video. I hope you liked it, and please give me some feedback in the comments because this was my first video on the channel.